This is a screencast about script 6 from our book code for chapter 3. And what we're going to do right now is look at a little more specificity. So what we have here is an asterisk that says basically everything on this page needs to be color gray. Well, that's fine and dandy because when we look at this we see it's gray and we see this section that's gray. But what about the H1 that has a page title? Now notice how it says H1 page title. That encompasses all of these values, right? Meerkat central, one would think. So shouldn't the EM tag be overridden by the black color because it's part of the ID page title inside that H1 tag? Certainly it's part of it. However, the way CSS treats it is it has a specific tag, more specific than ID page title. Then it would go for its traditional color, which would be the asterisk. Now, many of these scripts in this lesson are going to be testable, and then you can make your decisions on how you want to create it down the line. So it's not a make or break to memorize this stuff. You should just get a general theme that the more specific the tag, the more it has to be individually styled. And the cascading rules of the asterisk are going to be overridden constantly by smaller values. Okay, so big picture stuff. When you create your CSS, you're going to have the most basic general properties and values at the top of the CSS page. Then you're going to get more specific with individual elements that are unique to each web page. So what I would do is get my base level style guide type properties and values straight from the template of the website. And then as you add more specificity, more specific elements, that's where you can start working down the page. And we'll talk about this again throughout the course, but I generally do my CSS from the top to the bottom. In fact, I'll show you an example. Okay. When you look at something like this, I would start with the header itself and then go right down to the sports arena address, the utility nav. Then I'd work on this nav. Then I'd work on the carousel. So the CSS would go right down the page. In fact, if I go to the CSS in here, we can take a quick look at it. And there should be a lot. And this one right here is actually the Valley Casino content. So this is the theme, and it's minimized right now, so I don't want to. I can always beautify it. CSS beautifier. So minimalization helps you keep clean CSS, and it loads faster because you remove line breaks. But we can always beautify this stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and format it. Anyway, you see that it's a good 12,000 lines. And when we go to the top here, ooh, it's a lot of lines. But you'll see a pattern of what happens first. And this is kind of the view from 30,000 feet of a large templated style website. So you've got your fonts, some comments, and then we start at the HTML, the viewport, making sure that all the normally HTML5 elements are display block, then the body tag. So you see we're starting with the more general to the specific. And then as we scroll down, we've got things that are on every page, and our list items down the page all the way down to anchor tags. And it's only when, here I'll find the first actual ID is not going to come until, yeah, here are the classes down below. So that's not until the 200 line of code in the CSS. So we have general base level selectors, and then here are our media queries, which we'll get into in this course quite a bit. But the idea is to get a good grip right now of big picture stuff, which means the more specific the tag, the easier it is to style, and that it's going to override. But it is kind of interesting that it is like that, because one would think that page title would be styling both. Anyway, that's script 6.